Central America this summer on a mission trip. There was about 15 of us, and generally what we do is we go down there, and it's a surgery team, and we provide free medical care for the people down in Belize. And while they're waiting and stuff, we teach them the gospel. And we kind of go around to different villages and show and teach people the gospel and stuff. Let's see. We had a church there too that we did a vacation Bible school that we taught lessons and stuff. We had one person become a Christian, but we had a whole bunch of people that heard the word. And the first day that we were there at the church, the normal crowd was there, and they had about half the building filled. We were there for a week, and the last day we were there, they were having to bring extra pews in, and they were filling the outside of the doors, so they had the whole building full. So we had a whole lot of people hear the word. This is my dad interviewing some people for surgery, and this is on the front porch of the hospital. And down in Belize, it's really, really hot, so this is one of our favorite places to be because you actually get some wind. And there's the ocean right in front of us. That's kind of the view of what we get from the hospital. Let's see. This is the operating room. The hospital down in Belize is not anything near compared to what we have here. We have so many more blessings up here as far as medical stuff. This is one of the machines that they were working on. This is what was brought from America. They don't have any kind of medical technology like we have. Let's see. And this is one of the main things that I have learned to be thankful for is air conditioning. When we got there, a lot of the air conditioning weren't working, and that's one of the first things we did is make sure the air conditioning was working. And here's me. I got to actually scrub in on 3 surgeries, and I got to watch a lot of them. Don't worry, I only cut 2 wrong arteries and severed 3 nerves, so it wasn't a big deal. Here's a really sad situation. The day before we left, we saw this girl, and she had broken her arm a couple of months earlier, and she went to Mexico to get this operated on, and that's how it turned out. So it's still, she didn't get anywhere. So we have a lot of medical blessings. If we broke an arm, we just go up there and put a cast on, it'd be fine, it'd be fixed. Here's one of the houses that they live in. Most of the houses is just thatched roof, dirt floor, barely anything to it. A lot of the kids you'll see run around barefooted, maybe don't have a shirt, don't have any clothes to wear. This is the inside of that house that you just saw, and you can see there's just nothing. I mean, dirt floors and everything. I've got sheds at my house that are a whole lot better shape than this, that cows could get into, and this is where people live. Here's another house. A lot of the houses down there are just pitiful shape. They don't have anything in the houses, like this. But the one thing that they aren't scarce on is food. They have plenty of food and stuff, which is a really good blessing. And what was funny is when we were down there, we would go order some food, and they would give you Belize servings, which we had beans and rice a whole lot. And when they put the rice in, you would get the to-go plates, and they would just pile it full of rice. There was enough rice in there to feed 5 people. I mean, they're definitely not liking food. But here's actually a nicer house that we saw. And here you see they got a TV. They don't have anything, as far as anything else goes, but they do have a TV, which is kind of sad. Here's where they cook their food. They don't have electricity in a lot of places, so they're doing open fire, and they have their kitchens separate because when you're cooking food, it's already hot as can be down there, and if you're going to be using open fire, it's going to just be a whole lot hotter. So they have separate kitchens, and here's all their cooking supplies and stuff. And it's definitely not very sanitary. I saw dogs and cats running around the fire and around their food and stuff. Here's a little girl that we visited. Her mom, I think, had surgery. And whenever we go to a family and we had kids, we'd give them those little bears. And they just thought the word of those little old bears that somebody put together. Here you see some kids that are barefoot. Right here is a pretty funny thing. We were out in the middle of nowhere, and we heard this flute playing. We didn't know what was going on. And it was hot and everything, everybody was sweating. And somebody said, how much you want to bet that's an ice cream truck? And everybody thought, yeah, that's really funny, an ice cream truck in the middle of nowhere in Belize. And it turns out this thing came driving up and it had the flute playing and kids were coming from nowhere flocking to this ice cream truck. We had a little situation where the van broke down. The transmission fluid was leaking. So we stopped at the preacher's house, and there's a church in the background, and we had to wait several hours for the guy to bring us another van. And it's no fun being stuck in the middle of nowhere with, a van not running. Here's a kid, we were taking pictures, he decided to turn the camera on himself. I thought that was pretty cool. There is the worst smell you were ever smell. That is the outhouse where we were. And let me tell you, that will make you appreciate indoor plumbing and flushing toilets. Here's a cake that they baked for us. These people are very thankful. All you heard after surgery or after you do something for them is thank you. They have nothing, and yet they're baking a cake for us. It's just kind of, it opens your eyes a little bit. And that's one of the things that I wanted y'all to kind of see in this chapel is how blessed we are. We're not living on dirt floors with, no air conditioning, no electricity, cooking over an open fire. You heard about all these tornadoes and stuff, and ice storms and stuff, and people having to cook over open fire. And it was just a big uproar. I'm having to cook over an open fire. These people do it all the time. We're just so blessed to live in America where we have all these blessings. I showed you a picture where I got to be in surgery. I had to wear the scrubs all the time because I was actually cleaning the instruments after they get done with surgery. And so sometimes I would walk out and I would have to go somewhere else, and the patients or their parents would be lined in the halls, and I would have to walk out and I'd have the hat on, the mask around my neck, and the scrubs on. I'd just be walking down through there and they'd kind of look at me like, whoa, this guy's the one doing the surgery? And I just kind of got tickled a couple of times. It was pretty funny. I taught a lesson at the Vacation Bible School, and we got done a little bit early, and so some of the kids were just talking, and somebody asked me how old I was. I said, I'm 17. And I thought they were going to fall out on me. I was getting all these weird looks, and I was wondering why, and then another kid asked me, well, how long have you been a doctor? Kind of like, well, I'm not really a doctor. We had just gotten done taking the patient home after after they'd have surgery, we would take them home in the van and stuff. And that's another thing. You don't see, most of the people you saw were walking or riding bikes. They don't have cars down there, and if they do have a car, it's not in the best shape. One day we got done taking the patient home, and it was in the middle of nowhere, and we stopped, and we were going to look at this. There's a spring, and this waterfall is really pretty and stuff. And when we first stopped, there was a military jeep, and it was flying up the road, and bouncing all over the place, and nearly bouncing off the road. And so we just kind of, minded our own business and looked at the waterfall. About 15 minutes later, they came flying back down the road about 15 times faster than they went up the road, and we thought we might ought to, hit the trail too if there was military running. But apparently we were in the middle of a war, but we didn't know it or something. But that's another thing. We have military like Mr. McGuire, people like that who go out and fight for what we have. We have, just so many blessings. So many people have sacrificed their lives and so many things so we can have everything that we do. That's one thing that really changed what I look at is, how thankful, how blessed we are, how much God has blessed us. And that's one thing that I really wanted y'all to get out of this lesson.